ihamela icwilisa tipikili ngemandla, tinyawo tabhangcwa ngesipikili kwashaywa. Buhlungu lobuhlula buhlakaye inhlitiyo, vele bebangananhlitiyo neluvelo, bamhlifita ngemchele wemanyeva enhloko, tihlwele tihlokoma, ingadi igeleda, bafundzi bashweleta, siphambano saphakama esicongweni sentsaba, kuletimbili tigelekece walenga emkhatsini, lutsandvo lwaqhuba indvodzana yayawulenga emtsini. Lendzaba ibuhlungu kepha ngitawuzama kuchubeka, bamchuba ngelichuku bamkhahlela bamkhahlabeta, bamhwadla ngetimphama bamngcimula ngetibhakela, bamkhafulela lobekahlobile, bamtfuka lobenganasici, bamphukuta lobekayinkosi, bamgandzaya bamgagabula indlela yonke. Sakhubatela, sadzayitela, sakhathela. Indlela iselulisisile, ekucebeni lugodvo lusimisisile, emandla onke aphelisisile, umtimba wonke bawushayisisile, watihudvula aqanca umcansa losicako, uyawumukela kufa kwakhe wenyukela etulo, kufa lokwaba yimphilo leyasikhokha ehlathini, lutsandvo lwaqhuba indvodzana yayawulenga emtsini. Lendzaba ayisiko melula kepha ngitawuzama kucatulula. Pilato wafisa kakhulu kumphulula, bala baphiphita bacolela kukhulula umbulali. Inkhosi yagwetshwa intsambo ingenasici ingenacala, bacala bambambabula ngesihluku nangesibhuku, wahejulwa wadzaywa emanceba ngensilane, sibakatane nje sigebhula sikhumba, bamgwaza ingati nemanti kwageleta ehlangotsini. Lutsandvo lwaqhuba indvodzana yayawulenga emtsini, wancuma-ke kuya entsabeni yemincumo, waguca wathandaza, watsi babe, uma utsandza susa kimi lendzebe yelusizi, noko kungabi ngentsandvo yakho, kodvwa akwenteke intsandvo yakho. Kubuhlungu ke bazalwane, kubuhlungu kuguca uthandaze ucele kubabe lokungaceleki, udzimate ujuluke titfukutfuku tengati ngenxa yelusizi, na Judasi angewakhe lucobo wamtsengisa etitseni. Lutsandvo lwaqhuba yindvodzana yayawulenga emtsini. Lendzaba ishwacisa lugogo, kepha ngendvumiso sishaye magogogo. Dvutekani ke, ningadvumali, dvumisani ke, besitsisitsa siyamncoba, kantsi uyasincobisa, besitsi sitawusephula, kantsi sesephulwa emihlatsini yekukhatsateka. Ngelisuku lesitsatfu wavuka ekufeni, kufa kwabulawa, kuphila kwaphiliswa, bumnyama banyamalala, budlova baphangalala, ngemusa wakhe wasibabala, kukhanya kwandlondlobala, kuthobeka nekutehlisa, kumvumisa nekumkhonta, kuye lutsandvo luyatfolakala, etinyaweni takhe nawungahlala. Bengitsi ngicela imphilo nje, yena wangipha emalanga lamadze, phakatsi naphakatsi, angisatsembeli emtsini nje kungenxa yendvodza leyalenga emtsini. ligama layo siyalati sonke futhi namanje singalisho sonke ligama layo nguJesu.
Birthdays are important because they give everyone a chance to feel special and see how much those around them love them, and of course to appreciate the joy and well-being they bring into their lives. The birthday of a king, however, holds more significance as the day and its activities transcend the real festivities that accompany such a day. The king's birthday allows His Majesty to connect with his people at a level where his compassion, his plans and his vision for the country and his people is demonstrated beyond measure. In the context of the people of Eswatini, the king is king because of his people. In Siswati, Inkosi yinkosi yabantu bayo.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hey guys, let's take a selfie.
Oh, wait.
Please. Woo!
Get it.
It's a video!
We, the young, are not a complicated bunch. You see, we take each day as a clean slate, a chance to experience more. Why turn down the volume when you can turn up the vibe? It's never about the destination, it's about the journey. And this is so true when it comes to South Africa. This land wants you to live in the here and now.
The coolest.
And not in some hashtag, because a place this timeless doesn't follow trends. It sets them. And her people have a way of making you feel at home. So come touch, taste, and live South Africa. There's so much more to see. Come journey with us.
Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondomiso Vilagati alongside Zamanzi Manze, and here are your top stories. Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, has cautioned church leaders to avoid leadership conflicts in churches that they lead. Portals are already emerging in the newly purged MR19 in Mhlambanyati Road. Tourists who are in the Kingdom of Eswatini for the Easter holidays are returning to their respective countries with nothing but good news about the kingdom. Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, has cautioned church leaders to avoid leadership conflicts in churches that they lead. Her Majesty was speaking through Indvuna Themba Kininza when church leaders paid her farewell following the conclusion of National Easter services.
The church leaders bade farewell to Her Majesty, the Queen Mother at Eswatini Royal Residence. The National Easter services were a big success as the Christian community commemorated the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ with His Majesty King Mswati III and Her Majesty the Queen Mother. Her Majesty was represented by Indvuna Themba Gininza, who on behalf of Her Majesty thanked the church leaders for their role towards the success of the national services. Her Majesty warned pastors to avoid leadership conflicts in churches as they breed disunity, which must be avoided at all costs.
Kungaba kuhle ukuthi nje wasihlangene la kube sihlangene sonke. Sikhulume livlinye la uNkulunkulu. Uma singahlangana sonke minister, sibe imbumba moya kude singathandaza uNkulunkulu angathi asifa khona. Kepha lokwehlukana. Aw. Bafundisa kusho ukuthi ngimane ngikhuluma lokungekho yinami egameni lendlovukazi kuyayitsabukisa kubona bafundisi bawebana. Lo moya loyo ungathi ungahamba ungete wabakhona. Nibe yindlu yaNkulunkulu ngoba umtimba munye. Sonke siyahamba. Kude lo tawusala. Akusho ngoba ngibese ijazi elimnyama ndawusala mina umbesele limbunga ndawo sonke senjanjani siyahamba phela kusindlela yakho uyilungisile yini ungenile yini kuJesu wena.
The Queen Mother reiterated her concerns that some pastors are now among those who harm the reputation of the country.
Ndwane Nkosi lo President Nkolo kusivisa abhlungu lekunene emakhosi ukuthi abone bafundisi bajikela lenkosi bakhulume tinto against lobukhosi sisasikusho lokho bekunene emkhathini wenu singakufihli kusivisa abhlungu labanye bantwana lesibakhulisile sabanesa nabanesa nibo bishop lamhla lokho bashumela lenye inkolo kuletinye tindzawo lokhu ke sikushiya etandleni temakhola ukuthi lokho atakuthandazela akuthandazele kuze kuthi indlu yaJehova ibe njani ibe yini.
His Royal Highness Prince Simelane urged the nation to pray for God's continuous intervention over the affairs of the country.
Nkosi hlala nathi lishonile lela uthi uvile lami esakatweni tifuyo tesive tiyebiwa onke lamalanga tiyothengiswa emasilaheni tiyothengiswa ngeshaya kwelithaka. Nkosi hlala nathi lo ngumfelo kati ekhaya la sekuseleni Tanzania khona nobe ngawuyise bekhona abekushiyile wemukiwe. Nkosi siyakunxusa hlala nathi kule mihla kuhlwile.
The Minister of Home Affairs, Her Royal Highness Princess Lindiwe, expressed her gratitude to pastors for the prayers that they made for the country over the course of the services.
Phinde sibonga nalo mthandazo lenwendile solo siyayiva le mithandazo iyaphuma imthandazo yale live liyathandazelwa live solo nefika solo kuyathandazwa siyeva lithi iBhayibheli nakamunye ucosha inkulungwane kepha nase bababili sebacosha inkulungwane letilishumi lo ninganga lo ningaka nje asathi ukuthi senicoshe bangakhe madimoni lasahambile lacabelena live leMaswati kuloku kufika kwenu senihamba nje sesiyati ukuthi impi yebomnyama seyincotshiwe eveni lakangwane.
While the pastors presented Her Majesty with gifts, their Majesties also showered them with gifts which included food parcels. On Tuesday, the pastors will bid farewell to His Majesty the King at Ngabezweni Royal Residence. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya reporting at Lutsitsini Royal Residence.
The Principal Secretary and the Minister of Labour and Social Security, John Hlophe, says the Eswatini National Skills Audit Report will influence the awarding of government loans to tertiary students.
The Eswatini National Skills Audit Report conducted by Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center SEPAC indicates that engineers, electrical mechanics, specialist doctors, including plastic surgery, agriculture, will be in demand in the next 3 to 5 years in the country. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, John Hlophe, says government scholarships will be awarded according to key findings in the National Skills Audit report.
Yona sitayisebenzisa ngoba phela it's a working document. Kumele na uhulumende sale nyalo antshintsha ubonakala ukuthi lama vocational centers and all the things njengoba bebabala ayendeka yini athopha umntwana akhona ukuthi sebenze.
He says some of the challenges to implement the report may be that some students who are awarded scholarships to pursue courses whose skills will be in demand is that the students normally fail to complete their studies. The skills audit report indicates that institutions are not responsive to industry needs because of the lack of formal feedback mechanisms, which makes it difficult to follow up on training institutions' responsiveness. Another reason is the lack of policies. Training institutions discourage feedback from smaller industry players, as well as lack of finance to implement the suggested reforms. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Muzim Konta Mbabane.
Potholes are already emerging in the newly purged MR19 in Mhlambanyati Road. The Chief Roads Engineer Vincent Dlamini says the ongoing potholes purging on the MR19 would not cover the new potholes that have surfaced. He says to fix those it would require government to hire a new company.
While potholes repair is still underway on the Mhlambanyati Road, potholes are already emerging at some parts of the road that the construction company has already fixed. The Minister of Public Works and Transport Chief Roads Engineer Vincent Dlamini says it was unfortunate that the potholes keep on appearing, adding that government will need to fork out more money in order to repair the new potholes despite that the project is still ongoing.
Umuntu bekabe nje wena akufakele amaglasi leka akawafake bese sekufanele elinye sekengcile la. Bese wenza njani? Sekumsebenzi lomunye kufanele abuye kawende but awende ezomsebenzi lomunye. Akabuye abalungise but kwi-cost lokulungisa. Akusifo free. Yebo. Akusiko ukuthi kuvuleke lokwendiwe ngibo.
The ongoing project is estimated to cost 23 million emalangeni. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mahwalala.
Hlanganisweni High School is expected to appear before the Public Accounts Committee when it resumes business soon to answer about various audit queries which include unsupported payments made to the head teacher. The school appeared before the PAC last financial year, but further appearances had to be postponed after the head teacher was said to be stressed. This is contained in the Auditor General's report for the financial year ended 2018.
As the new government financial year has started, the Public Accounts Committee is expected to resume its sittings soon. Controlling officers of different government ministries and schools are expected to answer about audit queries contained in the Auditor General's report. One of such institutions to appear before the PAC is Hlanganisweni High School, which has about 20 audit queries to answer to. The school has already answered to about 14 audit queries. However, the AG says the responses were unsatisfactory. Some of these include an amount of 1.4 million emalangeni that was used in 6 months. Another query is that of over 20,000 emalangeni paid for grass cutting. The school is also expected to answer about the disappearance of CCTV cameras. It will further respond to an audit query about unsupported payment to the school's head teacher. The school appeared before the PAC last financial year, but follow-ups could not be made as the head teacher was said to be stressed, and the school's appearance had to be postponed to this financial year. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Mbonga Dube Mbabane.
Constant rains over the weekend have caused damage to roads in the Mapalaleni constituency. This has also affected farmers who say they have a bumper harvest but have a difficulty in reaching markets due to the state of the road. Mapalaleni Member of Parliament Mablala Masego says the government has approved projects that will solve this challenge.
Proper road infrastructure is one of several things that promote the development of an area. The damage to this infrastructure at Mapalaleni due to rains that have caused it to be slippery and certain parts to a road has affected commercial farmers and businesses. So serious is the situation, even bakery trucks cannot make deliveries at some shops.
Umbila kawukhona ukufika etinzaweni lapha bangakhona ukuthengisa khona. Ngenxa yokuthi imigwaqo mibi kunganalitulu kashelela akuhambeki. Leke singacela kuhulumende ukuthi asibukele sisive semaPhalaleni lokuthi sesikhicitile imimbila ngoba nale mimbila lesikhicitako nje siyithola kuye ngokuthi asibambise nganalihlelo lolukhona la hulumende labo 3.5.
Lokulinile nje kuyashelela nalomuntu lesamcela wemoto akakhona ukuthwala vela nje khanze ukuthi ibhizinisi yalimala ngani ngoba la makhasimende lekaletha lombila la ayakhinyabeteka nawo futhi loba akade konje umuntu ukuthi kufune impuphu yakhe imbila ulandwe ngemsombuluko selinile ke njengalokulina lenta njena nje bahleda abasadle nabo emakhaya.
Mapalaleni Member of Parliament Mablala Masego says something is being done about the road.
Kepha lokuthi imvula setigoba siyethemba ukuthi uhulumende so utawuphuma ngemandla lagcwele. Nathi nje laMaphalaleni kukhona leni kubonako lokuncane lokwentekako. Lokhomba ukuthi uhulumende nembala sowungene. Angibekise nje la kithi kwakhiwa emabloho lang 5 la tawusita lo mango kusuka kubomtshopano kuyoshona kubo lolubovu ubheke embabana. Ngala kubonsingweni nakhona kusukuma libloho elikhulu lembuluze Florence. Libloho lelo ke lelibite ama-millions nama-millions. Uhulumende sowungene. Sowungene uhulumende wetenkundla uhulumende weNgonyama. Ufikile kithi eMaphalaleni. Ngicabanga ukuthi nje kuyothi kuyoshaya bo May June awudine into inzalo etabe satithinsile.
Pupils are expected to return to school on Wednesday, and with the current state of the road, some may have difficulty traveling to education centers. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Mbongwa Dube, Mapalaleni.
Tourists who are in the Kingdom of Eswatini for the Easter holidays are returning to their respective countries with nothing but good news about the kingdom. The tourists say they will return to Eswatini because of the warm welcome and hospitality of Emaswati. The tourists said this during an interview at the Ngwenya border gate on Monday morning.
As the Easter holidays are over, tourists are going back home. Some of these tourists were found at the Ngwenya border gate, where some said they were in the country for Easter services while others were here on vacation. We spoke to some of them and they narrated about their stay in the country.
Ibeyinhle kakhulu although siqale enkozweni ngalesihlanu nangemgcibelo saphuma ke ngemgcibelo sabe sesiyavakavakasha khona ibeyinhle kakhulu ngokuphandle kokuphazanyiswa imvula. Imvula ke siphazamise kakhulu. Inzawo letiningi asikakhonanga kuya kito kodwa imphatho nje lesiyitholile nanini singabuya sitawuvakasha.
Into engiyibonile ukuthi akuno nix ubutsotsi or a crime, something like that. So we enjoyed, you know. Singafuna ukuthi sibe like awkward when it comes to all those things. But we were so good.
The culture and everything, and it's very beautiful. And I also enjoyed where we stayed. It was very nice, yeah.
Vakashe kahle la Eswatini sukhandiwe kahle kakhulu. The next time isawuphinda sibuye futhi sivakashela la ekhaya.
Here in Eswatini, I really like the sense of community that everybody has. I think that I would love to come back and see more of the country. Most of my time was spent in Manzini, and that was really cool to get to talk to people and get to know them. And so I'll definitely want to come back if I can.
Although the Easter holidays have come to an end, Emaswati will have one more holiday on Tuesday, as it is His Majesty the King Mswati III's birthday. On the entry side of the Ngwenya border, it was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with the Mbongwa Dube, Ngwenya.
A 25-year-old man has been arrested for the gruesome murder of Figile Juliet Tabete, who is 66 years of age, using a spade. According to the deceased neighbor Andrew Mhlanga, they found the deceased with a slit throat and her face was seriously wounded.
The alleged murderer of Figile Tabete is from Kamaze and have been working at the Tabete homestead as a housekeeper. The Tabete family is a stone thrown from the homestead that the deceased stayed. He allegedly killed his victim when she was on her way to her house, where she stayed with her alleged lover. Even though it was not clear why Tabete was brutally killed, Eswatini TV News obtained that the two would regularly argue, especially after taking traditional beer. The spade used to kill Tabete was allegedly taken by the police. A neighbor to Tabete, Andrew Mhlanga, says the deceased died on the spot.
Bathi nanginesibinzi ngako mbuka gogo. Vele ngathatha licingo ngalilayita ngihamba ngawumbuka gogo hayi. Ngamkhanza ukuthi nowonakele gogo. Lapsweni akabukeki. Ematinyo nje ahlele ebaleni. Lapsweni uhliphike nje kakhulu. Lapsweni vele wonakele nalanthanyeni lapha ngathi bo kwashayeka ngathi bokusikwa la ngathi bokujubeka lanthanyeni la. Tonke timvo nje vele sithi ihlele ebaleni la.
The deceased sister Ngamsile Tabete says the family was heartbroken because their sister was killed like a dog.
Usishiya njani lo muntu besinaye ngemgcibelo ngalesine uyangishayela uyangivusela uphilile wasuyangichazela ukuthi cha bamsonsile yena dzadzewethu bekakhuluma nasanatha-nathile kodwa inkinga angiboni ukuthi kwakube kuyinkinga ngoba ivama yesikhathi lesiningi abengawacale manga abekhuluma info leyendekile nento layibonile angadi-ke ukuthi kumbe kuhishana kwakhona kumbe kukhona bekakubonile noma kukhona la bekakuvile ngaye lona lebekangena hlala naye la ekhaya.
Acting police spokesperson Nosipho Mnguni confirms the death of the elderly woman, adding that the alleged killer have been arrested and will appear at the Mbabane Magistrate Court on Wednesday. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Viminkosi Nzinisa Mnyogane.
The Egualuseni constituency has conducted a study which has shown that high mast lights are needed in the constituency. This has been said by the Egualuseni Member of Parliament Sibusiso Mapanisi Dlamini. Dlamini says installation of lights will help in minimizing crime in the areas.
The population of the Egualuseni constituency as of the 2017 census was over 60,000. Over 80% of this population is in the rural part of the constituency, which means these people do not have access to benefits provided by municipal councils like street lighting. This then makes most streets in the constituency dark and crime to be rife. Egualuseni Member of Parliament Sibusiso Mapanisi Dlamini says they are working on a solution to this.
Isebumnyameni kanzi sithutane nedolobha so sesikwendile ke ukuthi basendele laba bongqongqoshe balamalambu bathi mabo Apollo siselihlelweni nje lokuthi sikusebente lokho kugcine bese sekuyaqala njenge project yalomango waseKwaluseni umgwaqo uba siceshana before ufike kule thale ehlanganisa Mhlaleni indzaba kunemapipe bekufanele akhishwe abekeke enzaweni lekahle akawota kukhona ke nalapho umgwaqo khona sidawusho ukuthi kube nema bottlenecks ngekuthi kunetigodo letila mgwaqweni.
Egualuseni Community Police Jabulani Dlamini says the Apollo lights will help them fight crime.
Le tigebengu tithandza lobumnyama kungaba kuhle kakhulu kokuthi indzawo yaseKwaluseni kulandzela kokuthi yakheka ngalendlela lekwakheke ngayo imiti ibonakala lapha yakheke isonzelene uma isonzelene ke kwakheka lobumnyama kokuthi mabakhwacela ngala awusakhona ukuthi ubabone.
The closest Apollo lights to the constituency center is in the University of Eswatini, and it does not light as far as the high crime areas such as Mpuleni. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Mbongwa Dube, Kwaluseni.
Back, you're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, Eswatini Boxing Association says from the 9 local boxers who will represent the country in the Zone 4 games to be staged in Mozambique, only the best 2 will qualify for Commonwealth Games that will be staged in Birmingham later this year. The Zone 4 games will begin on Wednesday in Maputo.
The Kingdom of Eswatini is expected to take part of this year's Commonwealth Games to be held in Birmingham in England. Out of the available slots for the country, the Eswatini Boxing Association is expected to provide at least 2 boxers to fly to Birmingham come July this year. The association has officially revealed that having sent 9 boxers to take part of the Zone 4 games in the Republic of Mozambique this week, the same competition will apply as a Commonwealth tournament qualifier for the 9 boxers, where only 2 outstanding boxers will automatically head to Birmingham. Out of 9 who left for Mozambique, 2 of them being Tabiso Dlamini and Zweli Dlamini have recently represented the country at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games that were held in Australia in 2018. Their experience is likely to give them an upper hand while in Mozambique. The Zone 4 Games in Mozambique will begin on Wednesday to Saturday this week in the capital city, Maputo. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msunera, Babane.
Coaches of the top 4 teams in the MTN Premier League standing, Edwin Matsebula of Royal Leopards, Selawotse Mosala of Mbabane Highlanders, Sabelo Mnisi of Young Buffaloes and Musa Manyat of Mbabane Swallows have expressed their views on the title race. The 4 coaches believe that all the 4 teams have a better chance of clinching the title with the 9 remaining games.
The current MTN Premier League season has played 21 games so far, with the top 4 clubs all standing a chance to win this year's league. The defending champions Royal Leopard head coach Edwin Matsebula's side are at the top of the log with 48 points. Matsebula believes winning at least 8 of their remaining games will give them a chance to defend their title.
Okay, lo consistency. If you want to be a champion, you need to be consistent kuma games akho. Kuba consistent, you have to win 7-8 games in a row. Then you can talk of a championship.
For Saulot Sly Mosal of Mbabane Highlanders, a lot can still happen in the remaining 9 games.
No, listen, there's nothing. We just have to keep on going because this league will be open, I'm telling you. People will drop points, we just have to keep on fighting and then see how far can we go.
For Sabelo Mnisi of Young Buffaloes, he says they'll be taking each game at a time, as they believe a lot can still change in the remaining games.
Sifisa sikwendeke but nje thina safuna sasemapoint lawo leswathola ngegame asifuni kudifaka under pressure but nje iwin sayithokotela ikakhulu kumuntu longetulu kwethu lokusithe kakhulu.
For Mbabane Swallows head coach Musa Manyatsi, experienced players will be playing a key role in the remaining games as it has been done in the past.
Now to Baleli Mbabane Swallows, especially the page in the Swallows. And then, like I'm saying, it's experienced players, and then the badlali bebakhona in the past seasons. Baba City level abancane ukuthi babatshele ukuthi ukuthini lokudlala eMbabane Swallows.
MTN Premier League games will proceed on Tuesday with Royal Leopards facing Denver Sundowns. Mbabane Highlanders will play Monday Pirates. The 2 games will be played at the Mavuso Sports Center. At Tabangulu Stadium, Young Buffaloes will play Tabangulu Keddies, while in Pikes Peak at Kilani Stadium, Mbabane Swallows will visit Maradi Chiefs. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msunera, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a recap of today's headlines. Her Majesty the Queen Mother has cautioned church leaders to avoid leadership conflicts in churches that they lead. Potholes are already emerging in the newly purged MR19 Mhlambanyati Road. Tourists who are in the Kingdom of Eswatini for the Easter holidays are returning to their respective countries with nothing but good news about the kingdom. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
Nature Council, management, staff and all stakeholders in the multi-sectoral HIV response join Her Majesty the Indlovukazi and all eMaSwati in celebrating and wishing His Majesty King Mswati III a happy and prosperous 54th birthday. Khula Mlisa, sibhekene ngqo ne-AIDS asiyesabi. Bayethe wena waphakathi.
Bamfunga ukuhlukana kwabo basebenzisa indlela etehlukene tekuphilisa wona umphefumulo. Kepha inkondlo yona iyalapha, iphilise, iphinze, ilungise nalapho konakele khona, ilethe nelithemba kulabo labaseba lahlekelwe ngilo lithemba. Ayinibingelele ngiphinze kunemukele babukeli elihlelweni lenu Tandla nenkondlo lonibingelelako ngifortunate Mabuza. Njengoba wathi ke mbukeli ukuthi elihlelweni Tandla nenkondlo sikulethela bona bosonkondlo. Namuhla ke mbukeli elihlelweni sitakulethela bosonkondlo labata haya tinkondlo letikhuluma ngekufa kanye nekuvuka kwaJesu Kristu. Sitawucala ngaye ke mbukeli Christian Mars.
Kubuso kwakho kulabafile kuvusa inhlungu emzimbeni wami. Ngoba sinokungingaqonzisisi ngemazulu emhlabeni. Kufa nekuvuka kakusiyo into lejwayelekile letinsuku tanamuhla. Nasi phela Sani abafundi labangafundi kabalati beliphunga laso.
Ngobe nebusukulanekelwa ngabo. Wathatha sini. Asabongile wasihlephula. Wabapha abafundi bakhe wathi, "Thathani lo nihle. Umtimba wami lonikelelwa nina yenda lokhu kube nimkhumbule." Futhi emva kokudla wathatha inzebe asabongile wabanika yona wathi, "Nathani yononke ngoba lokhu ingadi yami isivumelwano lesisha leyo